Hello and welcome. I'm Ashley with Floor & Decor, here with our resident installation expert, George. And today in the Floor & Decor workshop, we're going to show you how to install laminate and vinyl. It's a great DIY project, right, George?
Yep, pretty easy to do. Can tackle it in one day.
Great. So while George is our expert, I'm a little bit of a DIY novice, so I'm going to be learning how to do this right along with you. So I'm excited to get started. Tell me what's going on here.
Yeah, so we're going to go through really all the tools and all the steps of the job. So again, pretty easy, but going back to what you said, even though if you're a novice, right, do it yourself doesn't mean by yourself. So this is a good project to take on with somebody in your house, a friend, a family member. So super easy. So first we're going to go through the 4 steps of the job, and we've done that before. So the first step really is the preparation. So preparation is key. There's many parts of prep. Preparation could involve demolition. All right, that could be removing carpet, or could be removing an existing tile floor, or if you have linoleum, you could actually lay this Decor performance that we're going to be showing you all today. You can lay it on top of that.
Okay.
And so I think when you're prepping, what's important is that you use the right tools. So some of the basic tools. Now we don't have everything here. We're just going to show some of the basics. But we have a hammer, a pry bar, which a pry bar is great because it can remove tile or tack strip with carpet, staples in a floor. Also, you want to make sure you have some gloves with you, some of your goggles. So super important. Now, with preparation, we also have to keep in mind, always have a broom handy, and then right next to you we have a vacuum. So you always want to make sure that you clean up all the dust and debris off the floor, and you're working with a smooth, clean, flat surface. Okay. So that's really important. Now, if the floor is not level, right, you can tell if the floor is not level by using one of these. And so this is kind of like our tape measure, right? A very important tool to use.
Best friend.
That's right. And a level is critical to see how level your floor is. And we do sell some patching compounds and some levelers, so if there's some low spots, you could fix them, because you'll be able to notice those if you don't fix them. So moving on, we go into the set part, and that with set we have these. Actually, these kits are fantastic. This kit comes with a pry bar, a tapping block, a mallet, and wedges, and we're going to show you how to use some of these tools today. So also part of the set is underlayments, and today we actually, with this Decor performance, we're going to use this Sentinel Protect Plus underlayment, which what I love about this underlayment, it's going to protect, it's a vapor barrier, protects you from moisture. It's also going to give you some better comfort, so it really makes a difference when you're walking on the floor. It doesn't sound as hollow, so I love from a sound perspective. Also for comfort and warmth. Okay. So that's a key. So now you can use another one like a poly film, but really this has been a big popular seller in our store, so I really recommend the Sentinel Protect Plus. Okay. Now, moving on, the next part of the job, the third part really is trim and molding, and we're going to show you some of our quarter rounds as a molding, and we have coordinating quarter rounds that are, coordinate with the floor. We're going to use. We're actually going to install a T-mold here, as you can see here. We're actually going to show how to install the track, and these are critical to the job. Okay. So then lastly is the 4th step of every job. To me, is one of the hardest parts, is cleaning it and maintaining it. So and it's one of my favorite, and we're going to show you how to use this little cleaner here. And this cleaner really is good for vinyl, laminate. And so as you can see, we have the whole system here, and we got a refill in this big gallon jug as well. So I know that was a lot. Yeah. And those are the 4 steps of the job. And I know we're going to show you some of the details and like cutting and laying out and planning. So yeah, I'm excited.
So let's get started. All right, now that we've cleaned our subfloor, what are we doing next? What is this?
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to install the track for our T molding that we talked about earlier.
Yep. So all of this was in that package that you showed. All of this comes together. Yep,
and so what we're going to do is I'm going to measure this out, and so when you install the molding, you want to, we're going to pretend that this is a doorway, and that there's a threshold here. So when the door is closed, you don't see, the floor on, 2 floors on one side. So that door the T-mold will sit right in the middle. And so what we're going to do is we're going to cut this track, because the T-mold will snap into this. So we're going to cut this. You can cut this with a hacksaw, pretty simple. And then what we'll do is we'll fasten it using these screws. And I already drew a line here just to keep us square.
Okay.
And then, also, and we'll show when we start planning the floor, our new Core Performance, our vinyl floor, will sit about a 1/4 inch away. You want a 1/4 inch gap off of that track. So it's a pretty simple install. And we'll just install the track by using a cordless drill. Okay, so now we're gonna walk through the different pieces of the T-mold.
Okay.
So you can see I cut this track here with the hacksaw. All right, and then also what I did with this one, I cut it just with the miter saw that we have over there. Now in the packaging, you're gonna see these screws, and you're also gonna see some anchors. Now, if you have a concrete subfloor, you have to pre-drill with a masonry drill bit using a drill, and then these will tap into the hole, and then the screw will fasten the track into the anchor.
Okay. Ready to lay some vinyl?
Let's do this.
Okay, so we just had to do a little bit of planning before we get started laying the floor and had to make a couple of initial cuts, right? So take me through what we just did.
Yeah, so now that we know that our room is pretty square, we have our starting points, we made some initial cuts around these doorways, and you'll see the cuts. I used a circular saw and a jigsaw, and you can use a table saw, and we also used a manual cutter to cut our straight cuts for our end pieces. So our next step really is we're going to go ahead and install the underlayment, and then we are going to go ahead and start installing our pieces.
Let's do it.
Okay, so now we're ready to put the underlayment. So what we did was we pre-cut the pieces because this is a smaller little demo area. And what this Sentinel Protect Plus has, it has a lip and tape type system.
That's this section right
So yeah,
here.
we're actually going to take this piece. We're going to show you how that works. So we'll take it, and then we're going to, of course, this piece will go towards the subfloor.
Okay.
So you take that to the end, and when you install this, you can actually, to hold it down, because it is going to curl up a little bit, right? So you could actually, if you want, you could staple it down, or you could put, something heavy on it, like, that can hold it down. So let me just move this here. And so, okay. And then I'm gonna actually maybe trim this just a little bit, and I'll set this piece for now right here to keep it in place. Now, here is what will fold out. So I'll need your help with this. See this white piece? Yep. And so then this piece will go right there. Perfect. And then the next piece that we're going to put on will be flush up against this.
Okay.
No overlap. And then here, there's a piece of tape here.
Gotcha.
So what we're going to do with this one is we're going to go ahead and now with this. Okay, now what you can do, Ashley, if you want, you could start to, if you want to peel that little layer of tape. And then you're gonna come all the way down. There you go. Okay, you got it?
Yeah. One thing I do want to make sure we cover is that this is a locking flooring. So part of what makes it such an easy do-it-yourself project to take on is kind of this tongue and groove locking flooring. So take me through how these pieces go together and what this lip is, the tongue, the groove mechanism.
Yeah, so that's a great point. So, of course, we're going to start with the tongue side against the wall, always.
And which side is the tongue?
So you're going to see, actually, it's going to look like the smaller edge, the smaller lip of it, and then the wider one is going to be the groove.
Okay.
Yep, and then we're also, and we talked about earlier, is, we're going to have a mallet to really maybe tap down the seams. And then, on the ends, we're going to have a tapping block, this universal tapping block that will hammer on this side. And then for a wall, if you need to pull some pieces towards you, you got a pull bar. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and we're gonna drop this piece in place. Ooh, see that? Okay. And there we go.
All right, so we've installed our floor, then we added in some quarter round along the edges to cover those up, popped our T-mold into that track that you installed a little bit earlier. So now it's just time for the final step, care and maintenance, right?
Yep, and here I'm going to use this little mop system here from Bona, real easy to use. You know, the liquid's already in here, it's got a little trigger, and then, you know, this is a great product for the basic everyday maintenance, and you know, you just squirt it, and you can see how easy this thing is to use.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Great. Well, that is how you install laminate or vinyl. Check out some of our other how-tos for your next project. And if you do this project on your own, definitely make sure you share it with us with #Floor and Decor on Instagram through our Real People, Real Projects.